Finally, before we get to work on actually reducing distress, on making happiness, a brief introduction to a very big, very important challenge that we face. I've explained that our attempts to avoid intrusive feelings backfires and leaves us feeling worse. Unfortunately, we actually organize our lives around avoiding these intrusive feelings. We have a wide range of strategies that we use, and in each case the result is the same. We get some relief, some feeling good through avoiding the feeling, but in the long run it leaves us feeling worse. Beyond that, our avoidance strategies contribute to those around us feeling worse as well, particularly our partners and our children. So, to become happier, it's extremely helpful if we can identify our own particular patterns of avoidance. I'll describe some of the more popular ones now. The first strategy is to simply avoid situations that are likely to trigger intrusive feelings in the first place. With experience, we learn when we're likely to feel distress, so we can just avoid those situations. If I'm afraid of flying, I can avoid flying. And if I'm afraid of speaking to groups, I can try to get out of it. If I want to avoid the emotional pain of rejection, I won't take the risk of becoming emotionally involved. If I want to avoid feeling embarrassed, I won't risk putting myself out there. When we avoid situations, however, our distress around them actually increases, so the problem just gets worse. Through our avoidance, we also make our world smaller and smaller, so we don't get to enjoy the positive aspects of doing those things. Another basic avoidance strategy is to try to suppress actually feeling the feeling in our bodies. We can ignore it, push it down, and clench our muscles against it. As research has shown, however, the feeling then comes back even stronger. The other problem is that the other feelings, the good ones, get caught up in this suppression strategy as well. So we end up blunting our joy and excitement. A very popular way we avoid our feelings is to blame others for them. You hurt me. You're making me feel guilty. This wonderful strategy takes the focus off of our feelings and puts it on the other person. Instead of being present with our intrusive feelings, we can focus on whatever the other person did that triggered them. Plus, as a bonus, we get to feel self-righteous. That makes it a hard one to give up. Another way we avoid feelings is to create illusions of security. If I feel afraid, I can buy a gun. If I'm afraid of poverty, I can make lots of money. If I'm afraid of being abandoned, I can rush to get married and insist on lots of reassurance from my partner. If I want to avoid feeling inadequate, I can accumulate lots of status symbols. The problem, of course, is that these are illusions of security that don't actually shield us from the intrusive feelings for very long. We then have to take even more drastic action to create even more compelling illusions, more impressive status symbols, more money, bigger guns. Substance use is another very popular choice for avoiding feelings. Marijuana may soften your fear. Heroin will ease your pain. And cocaine will blow away your shame. But drinking is your best all-purpose bet because fear, shame, and pain all dissolve in alcohol. You'll feel great until the hangover or withdrawal. Along with these general strategies for avoiding feelings, we have particular strategies we use to avoid each specific intrusive feeling. To avoid our fear, for example, we'll be prone to worrying, trying to anticipate and prevent bad things from happening. We may also become compulsive in checking that we're safe, triple checking that the door is locked. As we've already learned, though, these actually fuel our fear and they waste, our precious life energy. The most common source of intrusive pain is the emotional pain of loss or rejection in relationship. And the way we usually try to avoid it is by not getting too close, not being too vulnerable. If I don't put my heart on the line, you can't crush it. we're actually generally terrified of real closeness, of emotional intimacy. So we settle for relationships in which we get some of our desire for closeness met, but without risking too much. Either we maintain a certain emotional distance, or we become dependent and clingy, manipulating our partner into helping us feel secure. The tragedy is that these avoidance strategies end up costing us the very thing that contributes most to happiness: close, caring relationships in which we can be ourselves. And finally, for intrusive shame, that is the sense that we're somehow bad or inadequate, we avoid this through all of the things that we do to bolster our egos, to reassure ourselves that I am a good person. This list is truly endless, and it includes anything that we turn to for status, from the clothes we wear to the car we drive. It can include our achievements and our children's achievements. It can include how much money we have, even how much money we've given to charity. Feeling that we are good also includes believing that the groups we belong to are good, whether it's my family, my team, my company, or my tribe. My religion or spiritual path must be good, and ideally, I'll believe it's the best. My state or country must also be good, preferably, I believe they're the best. As every spiritual tradition has emphasized, however, trying to feel good through bolstering our egos is a trap. We can never accumulate enough points or status to stop intrusive shame. We can also never be truly comfortable being ourselves if we have to be maintaining an image. And we can't be genuinely close to others if what we're showing them is an image rather than our own imperfect humanness.